Now let's settle for the details. Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Free Akoto, has expressed worry over the disparity in prices of foodstuff from production areas to urban areas. Appearing on the floor of Parliament to answer questions, the minister opined that in light of the recent increment in prices of foodstuff, persons in rural areas are able to access foodstuff at very low prices. Hence, a solution to the problem is being sought to ameliorate the current food crisis.
The increment in food prices in recent times has been a cause of great concern to both traders and consumers following the price disparity of foodstuff in areas where crops are cultivated and urban areas. Appearing on the floor of Parliament, Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Free Akoto, raised concerns over this disparity and its resultant contribution to the hiking prices of foodstuff.
I think the problem is more acute in Accra. That's why I mentioned Accra. But you go to places like Cape Coast, Takoradi, Kumasi, and to a lesser extent, Tamale, the same phenomenon applies. And as I said, I just come back from 5 regions in the southern forest belt, and it's very clear when you are there that there's a lot of food, including in the Zama area. Yes, but then when you come to the cities, the Member of Parliament for Bodi, my good friend, and Mr. Speaker, who attest to the fact I was in his town only last week. The price of a bunch of plantain, Mr. Speaker, was only 6-7 cities. And yet, when it comes to the capital, Serioso, it's 12 cities. Just from Bodi to Serioso, the price doubles. And of course, when it gets to Accra, it's something else. The disparity between prices in the producing areas, the same thing from Oti. I was there, I came back on Sunday night. Dambai, you can get a yam, a tube of yam, the Speaker, for only 6 cities. And yes, and you get to Accra, and it's 24 cities. So these are the kind of disparities between food prices in the producing areas and the big towns and cities like Accra and Takoradi. Thank you.
He was also adamant that the cost of transportation alone is to account for the disparity in prices of foodstuffs, since these prices are already inclusive of transport fares, citing speculation of profiteering.
As I mentioned, I'm saying that the transportation cost, which is taken by the regional directors in their calculations, between the centers of production and places like Accra, Takoradi, Cape Coast, Kumasi. That includes the transportation cost. And with that transportation cost included, which is what is actually charged by the transporters themselves, you still have a disparity of half to 1/3 difference between the two locations. Well, I mean, that is something that we have to investigate, because the major items of cost is to do with local assemblage from the farm gate into centers where with Motor King and so on and so forth, and then the handling of the produce onto the trucks, for the trucks to travel all the way to Accra, Kumasi, and so on, and Takoradi, for it to be discharged. So if you take account of all that, we are saying that the cost, the price between the farm gate and the consuming centers, the big consuming centers, is about half or less than half. Now, some are speculating that the marketeers are making supernormal profit. That is something that has to be looked at. But we haven't gone there. What we are actually looking at is actual cost in terms of the breakdown, the price breakdown between the farm gate and the consuming centers like Medina and Makola and so on.
Addressing the press at the information